Okay, now we should have sound. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hi, AJ. Hi, All Thumbs. I don't remember your name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just working on a quick little thing to finish getting ready here. So you guys come in, and if you don't have something to drink, you might want to get something. Happy Drama-Free Friday. It's nice to have you join me today on a typical stream, but on a different day. On an atypical day. You see and hear me, thank you. Hi, Christy. Christy is Meta Mandala, right? Hi, Zandra. All Thumbs is Robin. Thank you, Robin. It takes me a little while for the screen names and and your real name. If you choose to be called by your real name, sometimes it takes me a little while to remember that. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm just trimming something up so I have it ready when I need it. If we get this far, if we don't, I'll be ready for next time. Hello to Virginia and Denise and Tracy. I see some new names. Hi, Barbara. Yes, Christy. Okay. Hi, Malia. Vicky Ross, Kimberly, Marion. Hello. Hi, Shu. So, welcome in to Drama-Free Friday. My name is Barb Owen, in case you don't know who I am. If you're watching the recording, you need to know that this is the first part of this is just chitter chatter and showing things and just catching up because I've been away for a few weeks, and so you may want to just scroll past that because this is recorded live with a live audience, and that's who I'm chatting with. Okay, I think I made it. Almost on time. Maybe a little trimming up has to be done later, but you know what? It's good. It's all good. What's Lizzie Brewer say? Those of you that watch her, it's all good in the hood. Whatever. Okay, so it's not perfect, but you know, it's gonna do for today. Okay, all right. Who has an earphone issue? I'm assuming Vicky does. Hi, Pat. Hey, Sylvia. I'm glad you're here. I was gonna talk about you. Light and laughter is Sylvia. I'm going to talk about her. Okay. So let's see. Oh, Pat, this is your first visit? Good. Welcome. Hi, Roesta. I'm just on my chat computer looking at the chat for a minute. So when I disappear, you'll know why. Because I have to see. Hi, Tam. Or Tamiko. Maybe it's Tamiko. Hi, Azure. Azure, I want to say Diana. Is that right? I have a cheat sheet. But right offhand, Azure Muse is Diane, not Diana. Diane. Hi, Jean. Hi, Joan. Oh, it's good to see you guys. Vicky's not getting sound. Oh, but everybody else has sound, right? Okay. So, first of all, we'll have just a little chit-chat, shall we? A little chit-chat. First of all, let me say welcome to Drama-Free Friday. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. Oh, I didn't scroll far enough to see everybody else that was here. I wonder why the chat stopped. It was my fault. Hey, Mindy. Let's see, who else? Miko. That's Miko. Miko for show. That Miko. Hey, I'm so happy to see you. Hi, Darlene. Dar. Holy cow. Hi, Dar. We have two Dars. We have two Dars now. Dar, it's nice to see you. Yes, Sylvia, I'm going to talk about you. It is Miko for show. It's probably not how you say it, but that's how I think of it. Diane says, call me anything. Don't worry about the name. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Sharon. I'm just saying hello to everybody that's in the chat. Hi, Dorothy. Let's see. Anybody else? Okay. That is how you say it? Okay, Miko. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Thanks for joining me today on an unusual day. I have managed to get cat hair in my tea. Now that is disgusting. It's bad when the first thing you have to do is fish out the cat hair out of your teacup. That is nasty. So welcome each other. Hi, Melody. So welcome each other, and I'm glad that you're here. Clausman is cat hair is a condiment. Yeah. Clausman is in the house, I believe, and I think that Race will be here in a little bit. So, because I do have planned to give away a few things today, and if all goes well, that's what we'll do. Who knows? Maybe you guys won't even want what I have to give away. Right? You never know. Okay, so let's see. So, Drama Free Friday, that's what we call this because we don't do drama here. We stay away from stuff that's dramatic if possible because I want you to have a place where you can go and you can just enjoy and relax and have fun. Right? Yes. Well, I had drama of my own, and that's what caused me not to be here on my regular stream day, which is the first Friday of the month. That's when I normally plan to stream. That is my scheduled time. It's the time I normally, none of that's making any sense. It's the time that I try to go live. It's the first Friday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so that's what I try to do. However, I got a little waylaid on the 21st of August. So cheers, everybody, because it's story time. We're not going to belabor this, by the way. So on the 21st of August, I was on my way to an appointment, and I was at an intersection, a certain intersection, and the light was out, the traffic light was out, and they had put up four-way stop signs, and so it was my turn to go. Everybody was doing what they were supposed to do, you know. And it was my turn to go, and apparently another lady thought it was her turn. And she happened to be 87 years old, and she happened to be on a walker, and she, let's just say she mangled my car. Hi, Pacola. Yeah, she mangled my car. Totally. And so that just sort of messed everything up. And I won't go into a bunch of details about it, but I'm okay, I think. It probably jarred my body a lot, and it jarred my brain a lot, which means when it jars your brain, it jars your thought process, which means, you know, it becomes a giant roller coaster. So anyway, that's what happened. So I was not sick, as one would think of being sick, like with the flu or something. But hi, Joey. Hey, Norma. But it's just the facts. That's what happened. It was not my fault. But it doesn't matter if it's not your fault. You still have to deal with all of the details of it. And so Race has been incredibly helpful. Yes, the car, I lost the car completely. It is gone. It is history. It's no more. Thankfully, a friend of my son's actually, he was a childhood friend who is a friend of ours as well, had a car that he could loan us, which was really sweet. Hi, Tony. And so I am so grateful for that. It was very, very appreciative. I'm still driving it because we haven't sorted out our car situation quite yet, because the wheels, so to speak, grind slowly with these processes, because when you get the insurance companies involved, it's a whole drama of its own self, of its own kind, right? It's its own kind of drama. So anyway, I've been undergoing treatments since then, and so I am doing okay. Nothing was broken, at least not physically broken. It broke my thinker is what it did. It broke my thinker. Hi, Jan. So you guys are going to have to cut me some slack. If I seem a little off, I might still be. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm okay now. The woman was driving a car, and she popped out of that car so fast, hauled that walker out, and she was. So the good part of that is apparently she wasn't hurt. I can't imagine that she wasn't, but the police department, the fire department came, the police came, the blah blah blah, everybody came, and they were like, you don't talk to her, she doesn't talk to you, and they sequestered her in a police car right away. So anyway. Yeah, I'm glad I'm okay. I'm glad I'm okay too. Very glad. I'm very grateful. I have a lot to be grateful for. So, anyway, that's what happened. That's where I went. That's why I went away from everything. From streaming, from social media, from you name it. It was like Barb went into the big cloud. So I've had to reassemble all my pieces and parts. If you know what I mean, you got to reassemble all your stuff. So anyway, enough about that. That's enough drama, but I feel like you guys watch me a lot, and all of a sudden there was this big disappearing act, and it's like, what's going on? So anyway, that's what it was. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on. Okay, before I forget, and thank you all for your kind thoughts and everything. I do appreciate it. Hi, Deborah. Yeah, I Sylvia, she says it's a good thing that you took care of yourself. I didn't have a choice. I just had to. So, sometimes stuff happens. You know what I mean? So before I forget, the VIP class is tomorrow, because I always try to have it the day after I live stream. And if you hear a roar in the background, that's because the air conditioner is on. It's still hot here. It's still really hot here. Hopefully by next time I stream, which will only be 2 weeks from now, by the way. Denise says, how will we know if you're goofy? I don't know. It's a very good question. So anyway, the VIP class is tomorrow. So those of you who are VIP members of How to Get Creative, your email already went out with all your information. And so if you guys would like to see a little bit about what we're doing, I'll give you a sneak peek. This is probably going to make the camera absolutely crazy. But what we're going to be doing this time, just to give you, like I said, a sneak peek, is hang on, I got one thing that I have managed to hide from myself. Like, really? How could you hide this from yourself? It was right here. Those of you that stream know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? You hide, well, anyway. Oh, here it is. Hiding in plain sight. Even worse, hiding in plain sight. So what we're going to do tomorrow in the VIP class is we're going to be working on creating galaxy fabrics. So here, and that's what I call it. I don't know. You can call it anything you want. So anyway, hello. So this is what we're going to be working on. They're metallic. They're metallized fabric, and we're using mica powders of different kinds. And then we're going to be, I'll show you how to do some things with them. So I don't know if you can see this. I'm just going to use this camera rather than do the other one because it drives the camera crazy with the shine. I am good at hiding stuff from myself. It's like crazy. I don't know how you do that, you know? So anyway, there's that. Then we're going to take that one step farther, and we're going to actually do some weaving, a weaving process. So I'll show you how to do that. Here's another piece that's woven. You can do the same process with cardstock. This is cardstock. Look how highly reflective that is. That's cardstock. This is fabric. Okay. So anyway, sneak peek for the VIP class for tomorrow. Hello, Barbara. Yeah, if you want to know what all happened, you can scroll back and drag the scroll bar back, and then you can find out what happened, or you can wait till the recording is done. I'm not going to go through it over and over and over. I hope you guys don't mind that. I'm not going to go through it again. Okay, so let me show you what I've been doing. Because it really knocked me for a loop, creatively speaking. There are so many puns and double entendres and yada 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 that we could say out of all this stuff. So, oops, wait a minute. Okay, race is in my computer, so all of a sudden I'm like, wait, something's happening on my screen. I should know, right? He's doing something, so we'll let him do that. Anyway, so what I was doing, as I said, it really knocked me for a loop. And so what I ended up doing for a while I didn't do anything except watch baseball games for probably a good week or 10 days. Hi, Dar. You love the new book with natural materials. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Dar. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Morning Mandalas. Yeah, that's a really cool book. It's a really cool book. Sorry, took me a minute. Anyway, so for a little bit, I didn't do anything but just go to the doctor and go watch, zone out in the healthiest way I could imagine I could deal with, right? Once my sea legs kind of got back under me, hi Jamie. Once my sea legs kind of got back under me, then I started, it's like, okay, I got to do something to regain my creativity, because there for just a minute or two or three, it totally disappeared. All my creativity and I was like, this is such bad news. This is what I do, So, I I'm not a Zentangle specialist. I'm not a Zentangle certified Zentangle teacher. I just play with Zentangle, right? I just play with Zentangle. And okay, hang on a minute. All right, I got to get back here. Hold on just a second. Okay. Alrighty. Now we're good. Okay, I'll put myself in here so I can still talk to you. So anyway, I'm not a Zentangle anything. I just enjoy the experience of Zentangle, and one of the things that they talk to you about in the Zentangle world is to use it to calm yourself down, which is what I needed to do. So I turned to my my little book of things, you know, my little book of patterns that I have several of these, because like, who can have just one, right? Who can have just one Zentangle or one journal for anything? You know, I have multiples. So I have this one and I have this one. This one is my favorite. This is one of the Leuchtturm journals. It's a dot grid paper, which you probably can't see. Let me see if I can just put it up here where you can see. Yeah, see the dot grid on it? It's just easier to do that than to zoom in at the moment. And so I just started going through that and then looking at things online. And I took some because I don't have any of the bona fide Zentangle tiles and all that kind of stuff. So what I did is I used some Bristol paper and I just cut it down into little square shapes. And then I started playing around. So I started using some designs that I had in these books. This is another journal that I have that has different kinds of paper in it. And so this has different kinds of paper, and you know, it's a book I made at one point and decided to use it for Zentangling. And there's things where if I screw it up, I scratch it out. Zentangle says there's no mistakes. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what I need. I need a no mistake kind of thing. And so from there, I just started combining patterns and then just labeling what they were around the little tiles. This is my little made up signature for Zentangle. They call it a chop, I think. So I've just been playing around with that. This kind of paper works really well for this. So those are the different ones. Here's another one. This one is a fun one. So these are these serve no earthly purpose. It was something to focus my thoughts on that I didn't have to think a lot about, if you understand what I mean. And so there's that one, which the name of this, I don't even know what the name of that was. I don't think it had a name, actually, unless one of you guys knows. This was another one that I did. This one is called Crescent Moon. And you can do, this one goes anyway. Do it anyway. But what I did mostly with these is I used the black micron PN, which is the plastic nib. I used that. I don't have my pins up here. They're they're elsewhere. But the black pen that I used was the PN, and I don't know if Janet is here, but she's the one that put me onto these pens. Actually, I have one. I'll be right back. Okay, I told you I could put my hand right on it, but that was a big fat lie because I can't. It's a really, really, really fine nib pen, and it's not a micron. It is a gel pen, I think, but I cannot remember the name of it right now. Anyway, it's really, really tiny. And then this one is one that Clausman really likes for different things, and this is a kind of a fun pen to use too. It's a Uniball Deluxe Fine, but when it comes to fine points, that's not very fine to me, but it's great for filling in bigger areas and stuff. So anyway, but if Janet happens to pop in the chat, you guys can quiz her on what the pen is. It's like a 0.3 nib. It's a teeny tiniest little line, but anyway, sorry I can't remember what it is. So there's another one. So this was just a matter of combining, trying out different patterns. This one is netting, hollybaw feathers, and paradox poke leaf. Okay, this is paradox. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's the plastic nib, but it's not the little teeny fine one. That one that you don't like very well. It's real fine, really fine point. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that's it. That should be it. Is it? Should it say 0.3 on the bottom? Yeah. Okay. Clausman to the rescue. This is the one I was talking about, so that you'll know what it is. It's called a Hybrid Technica. I'll give this back to you in just a second. Okay. Hybrid Technica, that's the pen. It's by Pentel, and it's an 03. Okay. But you see the little teensy little nib? We'll compare it to the Uniball, so you can see. Can you see the difference in those nibs? I don't know that you can. I'll make a line. We'll make a line. Okay, that's the Uniball line. Here is the Technica line. So you see how different that is, how different the blackness is. So, thank you. So anyway, that's that. Just so you know. Is the Pentel's waterproof? I don't know, to tell you the truth, because I was just doing it on the on here, so I don't know if it is. Honestly, I don't know if it is. Somebody here might know. So this is Paradox. These are the names of the patterns. This is Paradox. This is Poke Leaf. Okay, this is Poke Leaf. This is Feathers. This is the Hollybaw design, and this one is Netting. So that's what this is. So that usually what I've been doing, what I like better is I like writing the names around the outside edge where the pattern is. I like doing it that way because then I don't have to try to turn it over and all of that. So anyway, these are just for fun and for reference. And this is two different variations of I don't know which one came first. I don't know if Poke Root came first or Poke Leaf came first. One of them was the variation of the other one, and I don't know which is which. Again, somebody that's in the chat who really knows, who knows about the Zentangle stuff might be able to tell you. So this one's Poke Leaf with the pointy tops. This is Poke Root. The dots I just added because I like dots. And then this one, this is not a very good example of it, but the name of this is Dude. So this is a better example, but it's D-E-W-D, Dude. Oh, thank you, Melody. I'm glad you enjoy them. She likes the Mandala Madness cards, and she uses them daily. That's great. So if anybody has questions for me or something you want to draw my attention to, be sure that you put it in caps, all caps in the chat, because I have a better chance at seeing it. So this one is called Dude. Like I said, this one's not a very good example of it. This is a better one, so that was the one that I signed and kept. And this is where I was trying to figure it out. So I'll make notes for myself. You know, it's like, I'm trying to figure this out. This is not an easy. Some Zentangle patterns, I'm telling you, they are challenging. And when your brain is kind of working it at not quite 100% by quite a bit, it takes a little bit. Hi, Linda. Okay, so that was some of what I did, you know, to kind of give me a place to kind of get my sea legs back. And then and what was surprising was that the mandalas, how do you get the mandala cards? You'll see the link, Miko, you'll see the look up in the chat where it says, where you'll see the Nightbot showing up, and it'll say they'll give you a link. It's just mandalamadness.com, mandalamadness.com/cards will get you there too. Or you can go straight over to How to Get Creative, and you'll find them under the shop tab. So there's lots of ways to get there. Easy. Okay. Let's see if I have to fish out any more cat. No cat here at the moment. That's good. Mandalas or mandalas or mandalas, however you prefer to say them, are always my go-to kind of, you know, the thing like this where you go, it's my go-to thing. And for some reason I couldn't even draw a mandala. It's like, oh no, this is really bad. This is really bad. And one day they came back. So I'm grateful for that. They came back. Okay, so I'll show you what I did. All of these that I'm going to show you are cards. And these are all that free form kind of mandala. Hi, Mary. Mary, just scroll back. Just drag the scroll bar back to the beginning or close to the beginning, and you can hear it all. So these are freeform mandalas. None of this is fancy. These are done. I've shown how to do these, how I've done these in the past. These are watercolor, just watercolor blobs basically, and then I let them dry really well, and then I go back in and I just see what's there. And so, and I send out a lot of cards, and so that's why I do this. Hey, Tina. So I'll just quickly show these to you. Some of them are some of them are less mandala-like and more semi, you know, like a form, like this. This is kind of like a flower, not exactly. It's kind of like a mandala, not exactly. Barbara Clark says she's been doing the watercolor. She's been doing and sending the watercolor blob mandalas. Oh, good. Good. So it's just whatever the watercolor says to me is what happens, because I'll drop in different colors of, and I'm using inexpensive watercolors to do this. Student grade at best, kids grade at worst. And so I just start out, and so there's just a variety of colors on there. I usually stay in one color family, either the blues, the cool colors, or the warm colors. But I will just see what happens. I just drop in colors or paint colors on there, let them dry, and see what happens. Okay. So some of them are more, speak to me more than others, but you know, they're all okay. And there's a lot of detail in them. Can you see the green pen strokes in here? I mean, there's a lot of little enhancements in them. So anyway, of different kinds. Hello, camera. Hello, camera. Quit being a jerk. Thank you. Sometimes my camera likes to be a jerk. So here's another one. Sometimes I enjoy doing stuff around the edge. Some of them are very asymmetrical. You never know. Hi, Lori. And so here is this one. To reload myself here. Sorry. my one of my computers was not cooperating with me. Okay. Now it is. Now it is. All right. Back to the mandalas. So you can see, like, this one is not really, you know, necessarily a mandala. It's not really a flower. It's just sort of a combination of both, you know. Some of them end up having a distinctly Eastern feel or something. You never know. Another one that's kind of flower-esque. I just go with it. You know, when you just do, you just got to go with it and see what happens. Just got to go with it, see what happens. Who cares? Who cares? Because it's only, here's the thing about doing mandalas or mandalas or whatever you want to call them. They're only pieces of paper, okay? They're only pieces of paper. Dara says she loved the critters made from blobs of watercolor. Yeah, I love the critters. I love people. I especially love these because it doesn't have to look like anything, you know. And when you look at them, you'll see that the spacing is unique. In other words, it's wonky. Unique's another word for wonky. And that's how they go. This one is this is a completely different process. This we will talk about more today. This is actually leftover. The background is leftover stuff. This is actually Distress Oxide sprays in the background. This is leftover stuff. And then I just drew a wonky mandala on top of it. And same thing on this one. Now, what's in the background here is paste papers. And I'll show you a few paste papers because I did those right before everything went south. But this is a paste paper. So if you like to do paste papers or jelly prints, this is a good place to use them. Because this was the size square I had. It wasn't big enough for the card that I had, so I just matted it out and used a paste paper that I had. Here's another one, same thing. This is paste paper in the background. This, believe it or not, is one of these where it was these were all leftover pieces. This, and this. But this was clearly from a different, sorry, my nose is itching. I must be going to kiss a fool. Isn't that what the thing is? Anyway, so it looks like it's done in craft cardstock, but it's not. It's actually done on a mop-up thing that was from the Distress Oxide sprays. Yes. And again, it was. And now this little thing in the background or around the edge, that's a Zentangle border that I found in a book, and so I was playing around with it. It's not even a good job of doing it, but it worked. It looks kind of like Halloween or fall, you know, but anyway. And then I did put it on a craft cardstock base. Hang on. I'm going to get my phone to hush here. Okay. If it's not the phone talking to me, it's my watch talking to me. If it's not that, it's a cat talking to me. Hey, Janet, we were talking about you. Hi, May. Okay. I was talking about you because I was blaming you for buying pens a while back, and I couldn't remember what the name of it was. It was those hybrid Technica pens, which I love, by the way. Janet's really a fine Zentangler, by the way. Okay, so that was something else I did. Another thing that I did while I was dealing, or not, as the case may be, I'm a journaler. I know that most of you know that, but I am a journaler. And before all the stuff happened, I had gone to Tuesday morning, and the reason I'm showing you these is because if you have a Tuesday morning near you and you like to do journaling and you like stickers, this is a good deal on stickers, in my opinion. And I carry these in my journaling bag. I got 3 of them. These are by Amy Tangerine, whom I really don't know. I think she's a scrapbook person, I believe. And these, I just like these little sticker bits. I like having the variety. These are meant for using in planners. I don't use them in a planner. I use them to put in my journal, and I'll show you a couple examples of that. Anyway, these are regularly $19.99. They had them on sale for $6.99. So I'm just telling you that in case you have a Tuesday morning. There are 1,487 stickers. Now there are, you know, some of them are big, but there's a lot of little tiny ones too. So anyway, here's another one. This one, I don't think this was a specific artist, so I'll show them to you this way. So actually that would be smarter, wouldn't it? Anyway, so there's different words. Some of them are matte paper, some of them are metallic paper, some of them are clear stickers, some of them are little tiny things. This is an alphabet. Whether you can see that or not, I don't know. But there are lots of things you can use in a planner if you like planners. Like I said, I don't use a planner, I do a journal. And this one is Vicky Booten. I think that's how you say her name. But each one of these, see, like here's the planner stuff, which I'll just peel those off and use them for something else because I don't plan with them. My planning is done in a bullet journal, and I don't do fancy stuff in my bullet journal. I just, what I do there is I keep track of stuff. So anyway, this one has 863 stickers. This one has 1,302. Each one of these are $6.99. And this is 1,487. So anyway, I just thought I would show those to you. These are my journals, my current journals that I've been, I don't know why my nose is itching so much here. This is the one I'm getting ready to go into, so I will show this one to you. So these are moleskin notebooks, and this is the Stamperia, or if you prefer to say it, Stamperia, that's fine. I have been told that it's pronounced Stamperia. I don't really care. It's kind of like Mandala. I don't care. Some people get really upset when I say it the wrong way. Here's the name of it right there. See that? That's the name of it. This is rice paper by that company. These cost here, they cost about $5 or $6 a sheet, per sheet. They're beautiful. They go down like a dream. I absolutely love them. Here's another one. Here's another one of them. Here's another one of them. They have all different kinds, but these are the ones that I bought. And they cover these craft moleskin journals beautifully. And I like having different covers on them because I can tell, okay, this is like the craziest thing, right? But I form a relationship with the journal. In fact, I go through a little bit of a I'm so sad period after when I move into the next journal. I mean, it's crazy. That didn't happen because of the accident. That only happened because that's the way I am. That's just because that's the way I am. Anyway, so when I start out, I try to always put something on the cover, and then I try to do a little something inside the cover, because it's like I have to mess it up, so then I don't feel compelled to be careful, right? And one of the things I've begun doing is when somebody sends me a card, if it's too big, which this one was way too big to fit in my journal, I've ended up with this stack of cards, greeting cards, that I'm going to have to do something with at some point. But I've started making color copies of them and reducing them down, and then just you know, putting them in there because I like the little flippy thing and I get to keep the words that somebody said to me. Same thing back here. These all have a pocket in the back. And so these are all from my birthday this summer. And so I did the same thing. I just, you know, reduced the size, printed them out, cut them out, and then just messed up the journal so I'm not afraid to just get into it, right? Just get into it. All right. So, and like this came from a magazine. This came from one of those cards. These are stickers, the bicycle and those are all stickers from those sticker things that I just showed you. From these. Okay, these sticker things. So these have kind of a transparent background and I just stuck them in there just to mess them up. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of things here. And I may block out some stuff just because these are mostly these are the rantings of getting myself clear. There was, in fact, let me do a rabbit trail thing like Dee Dee Willingham says. Let's do a little rabbit trail. If you don't subscribe to our newspaper, I would highly invite you and suggest strongly that you subscribe to our newspaper. Our newspaper comes out every day. It is totally free. To subscribe to the newspaper, maybe Race can put, hey Krissa, maybe Race can put a link in there if he hears me to subscribe to the newspaper. It is free of charge. It comes out every morning, and you can get some really great inspiration. Now, I will tell you, once in a while, we cover an article or something that's kind of a dud, and I try to always go in and delete the duds. Sometimes I miss one. However, in one of the articles, there were a couple of articles in the paper. One was that recently. One was about journal. We always have a lot of things about journaling, art journaling and writing journaling and stuff. And one of the articles talks about, hey Mary, talked about writing till you write yourself clear. And that is the best explanation for why I do what I do. Not everybody's a journaler. I get it. It's okay. I don't care. It's fine. You don't have to even think about that. It's important for me. But anyway, I digress. So sometimes my journals will, if somebody else were to read them, which I hope they never do, but maybe they will when I'm gone, they'll go, man, she was really having a rough day here. Yeah, probably was. So what, right? So what? Okay, so this one, again, I decorated the inside. I always put, what the dates are. So I started this August the 9th. I just put stuff in here. I don't always do this, but I've been doing it more. I'll do little ephemera things. I showed how to do all these ephemera things on a YouTube video here. But I almost always start with some sort of artwork of some kind before I do the writing. And I do that just sometimes so that I can remember something. Sometimes I do it just to get my hand moving. I'm always taking little screenshots of things that I find on different places. Like I think this was on Instagram, but I'm not sure. And I'll print them out because I want to keep them in my journal. And I do lots of inspirational affirmation type things for me because I want that. That's important to me. And then sometimes people send me things like this. This was a card that Dawn at Let's Make a Mess Today, Dawn Calvin, sent me this card that she has a video where she made these. I wish my nose would quit itching. Seriously. Anyway, she made these. I saw her make them, and then she sent me one. And so I used washi tape and stuck it in, added it as a flip. It sticks out a little bit, but that's okay. So this is the one I want to show you. There's a bunch of other, you know, like if the card is little that somebody sends me, I stick it in here. Otherwise, I will print them out, reduce them, print them out, and put them in. These are just little things that I find that I like. Okay, so this Light and Laughter is Sylvia. Is that? I think that's how your handle is in here. Your screen name. I think it's Light and Laughter. I believe if Sylvia's here, she'll put it. She'll probably let you guys know. Anyway, Sylvia sent me this. She was back when we had the sale this summer on the Mandala Madness cards. Sylvia, we had, sorry, I saw something in the chat and my brain went, choop, squirrel. She won one of the decks of cards because we had a giveaway and we gave away, I don't know, 2 or 3 decks. I don't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. It was months ago. Anyway, she sent me, she's in Germany, and she sent me this beautiful card. And this was one of her, the watercolor, like found relative types of people that she did. I believe that's what she said. Let me see. Yeah, finally, the photo on the front of this card is a scan of my version of a funny relative. And I just thought I'd show that too because I thought that was adorable. Look at her hair. Can you see her hair? Look at her hair. Isn't that cute? I just love that. I love that. And she was so kind to send me this card. And then I put all the little bits and pieces. I ripped it off the envelope and I put the little bits and pieces in here. And this was I think on the envelope, and so I ripped all that. She wrote me a lovely note. She sent me this. This was included in it, and so again I added this as a flip, and this was a sticker that she had on it to hold it shut. I added this. I wrote some stuff inside of it, but I just added it as a flip into my journal. And what she sent me were the cutest things. Hello, Laura. Jersey Crafter. Hi, Donna. And anybody that I didn't happen to say hello to, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming today. I'm just looking at my computer for a second. Okay. Squirrel, I'm telling you. Anyway, she sent me the cutest, sweetest stickers. So she sent me these beautiful butterflies because she said, just because she knew that I liked butterflies, which is true. There she is, Light and Laughter. And she sent me these, and she said, let me read to you what she said. So she was the winner of one of the Mandala Madness decks. One of the funny things she said was she was showing them off to a dear friend. We were at a cafe at the time waiting for our drinks to arrive when suddenly one of the notoriously grumpy German waiters stopped at our table. He was too young, too cool for his own good type, but he stared at your cards and he exclaimed, "But they are beautiful." So I thought that was really sweet of her to share that. Okay, so the mushrooms, the mushroom stickers in Germany are symbols of luck. And this word is German and it translates as lucky mushrooms, lucky mushroom denoting a lucky person. Isn't that cool? And these little stickers here, these are Love Is stickers. And she said these have been popular in Germany since the 1970s. And the cool thing that she did, because these are in German, and I don't speak German, look, she translated them. She translated them and wrote what the translation was on the opposite side. So, of course, I'm going to have to stick that in my journal, too. But isn't that cute? Isn't that sweet? Anyway, so I just wanted to, because I haven't written a card, I wanted to be sure that I thanked Sylvia for that. I'm so glad she's here. So anyway, that is that. So this was a copy of one of the cards, greeting card that I got. I just printed it out, cut pieces out. This was from Brigitte Koopsen, which I apologize if that is not how you say her name. On Instagram, a bunch of people are doing the jelly plate printing challenge, and so I just copied that and stuck it in here. If you're on Instagram and you don't follow the Mantra Band, M-A-N-T-R-A, Mantra Band people, they're bracelets. They share a lot of inspirational things, like what if everything you're going through is preparing you for what you asked for, you know. So I put a lot of those little things. These are stickers from those books I showed you. This is from a stencil. So, you know, this I think is adorable. Kindness makes you the most beautiful person in the world, no matter what you look like. There's one of the mushrooms, and so forth. Anyway, I just wanted to show you kind of how I use the journaling. Oh, I was thrilled, Sylvia. I was thrilled, just thrilled. And I know I've heard people in red where people say, well, I have nothing to say. There's no reason for me to keep a journal because I have nothing to say. Well, you don't have to say anything. Maybe you just want to just do little bits of art, you know. Honestly, I think everybody has things to say. And besides that, you end up with a beautiful collection of journals. I have many others, but they're somewhere else. Okay, enough of that. Oh, I was going to show you one of the ways that I use the Mandala Madness cards in the journal. Since this one is brand new and doesn't have anything in it, we need to break it in just a little bit. These are the Mandala Madness cards that we were talking about. We've been talking about them. One of the ways that I use them, and I'll show you in my journal here, because I'm pretty big on inspiration, okay, inspiring, you know, using things for inspiration and affirmations. So this is one of the quotes from one of the cards. So an easy way to do this, sometimes I draw, like I'll shuffle the cards and I'll just pick one. Sometimes I go through the cards because each one has an inspirational word, and each one of them has a quote on the back, as well as an instruction or an idea for applying to your mandalas, should you be a mandala person. Sometimes I go through and I select the word, the one that seems to be the most meaningful to me that day. Okay? Hi, Sherry. Just saw your name in the chat there. Okay, so here is one of the ways that I do this. I look at the back and I look at the quote, because I usually try to include the quote on the journal page. So it's kind of down here toward the end. So I'm going to put this under here, and I'm going to zoom in. We'll see if we can get, if the camera wants to be sweet, wants to play nice with us today. Well, I just line it up under there because I can see through this paper. And then I just follow the general outline of the letters, okay? So that way I've got the style, the font. Okay, so I've got the style of the font. So you can see that the general style is there. It's hand done. If I wanted this exact thing, I could make a copy of it. Or I've shown you this many times where I peel the cards apart and I use the front and the back. And I've shown you that lots of times. Everybody gets a little freaked out about that, so let me just go get one. This is my own personal deck, so I'm not going to wreck it. So here's a deck that this is a card from a deck that I'm using, but these will split, and so you can just split them apart like this. They split really easily, and then that way you can use the front part of the card and you can use the back part of the card. So you can, they go a long way as an art supply. All right, so then what I do is I just look at the word and I look at the letters, and then I just thicken up the letters as I see them. The little bits. Like so. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking about this particular word. As I said, words mean a lot to me. I find words are inspirational. Handwriting is inspirational to me. Words can make you feel wonderful. Words can kill your spirit. There are so many things that words can do. And I endeavor to always, as much as possible, try to think before I speak. It doesn't always happen, but I try, okay? So then I just end up with the, goofy word art, based on this. And then I'll write the quote around the word wherever that fits. So just so you know, one of the ways that I use that. Okay. And the reason you see Nightbot popping up in the chat is so that I don't have to say the same things over and over. So I appreciate Nightbot. So anyway, that's just, one of the ways that you can combine your art and your writing and so forth, and end up with a collection of journals. And I keep these little bags with just bits and pieces of things. I chuck them in the back of my journal and take them with me, and I'm off to the races. A couple of books I bought this week, or not this week, like a month ago, I wanted to show you too. If you enjoy things like hand lettering, I bought both of these at Tuesday Morning. So again, if you have a Tuesday Morning near you, you might look for these. I don't know if they're there. If not, they're still good books. This is by Max Marlborough, and they're just interesting styles of letters. Just interesting styles of letters. Some things that I hadn't seen before. This kind of stuff. So patterned letters, kind of like Zentangle type things. One that was really interesting to me, and I don't know if I'll be able to put my hand on it. Let's see, shall we? Must be back this way. But it's just a lot of interesting, different types of alphabets and lettering and so forth than I had seen before. All right. All right, I'm going to look one more time. If I don't see it, I'm going to move on. But they're folded letters. So look at that with the butterflies to make the letters. Isn't that cool? So I just thought, here, paper folding. So these are strips of paper folded to make the letters. I think that is really cool. Yeah. That you don't even have to be able to write for. You just fold paper and make letters. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, this book was, it says it was originally $12.99. I don't know if it was or not. Anyway, I paid $3.99 for it. So it's an interesting book. I have a collection of lettering books. I'm sure some of the rest of you do too. This is different color combinations, and I thought this was really interesting. I have several different books on color combinations, but this is probably one of the better ones, and it is big. Again, I got it at Tuesday morning, but it is a big old book. It's worth paying the full price for, in my opinion. But anyway, I just thought I would just flip through. You know, this kind of thing is very interesting to me, right? It's very inspirational when you can see the same type of design in different color combinations and the impact that the different color combinations have and what they do, how they speak to you, how do they read. So this one was $24.99, supposedly for $3.99. So it's by Barron's. Okay, it's a Barron's book. So yes. So if I missed your question, put it in again, because I kind of got sidetracked and quit watching the chat for a minute. Bad me. So I want to show you just one more thing. I'm going to show you. A lot of what I've been doing here is just showing you things that I was doing while I was sort of getting my proverbial crap back together. If I try not to say the other word. Read between the lines. Anyway, so this is some of the paste papers that I have done. So I thought I'd flip through these real quickly. These are the ones I'm showing you on top that are 8.5 by 11. These are cardstocks. So this is different kinds of cardstock. This one's not. This one's paper. There are 2 videos here on YouTube that show the process for paste paper. They're also available on the website. And in the art supplies category, I believe, but they are here on YouTube. We have 12 classes from the website included here on YouTube, and there's 2 on paste paper. These are 12 by 12 ugly scrapbook papers. Hi, Kathy. So these are ugly scrapbook papers that I used. If you look at them closely, you'll see the background, see the stars. The background on this one was polka dots. I mean, these were ugly old scrapbook papers, and this is the paper weight, not the cardstock weight. This one was a bunch of words. I don't know if you can see it. I've obscured most of them, but see all those? It was like 4th of July paper, I think. I send a lot of these out. When anyone joins the website as a VIP member, I always send a little packet of things from different classes and streams and so forth. So I go through a lot of these kinds of pieces, and I also use a lot of them. Like you saw in the cards that I showed you a little bit ago, you know, that's what these are in the background. These are paste papers that I used in the background as a matting, type of matting for the cards. Yeah, you can just do some really interesting stuff with ugly scrapbook papers. This one had 4-leaf clovers all over it, so it was clearly for St. Patrick's Day. And this one had great big words. Every season. That's on that one. I don't know what else was on here, but anyway, there's something else under there. Anyway, these, honestly, the uglier the paper, the better I like it when it's finished. In the process, when it's going through the process of getting created, is pretty bad. Some of them are just butt ugly, but but they always turn out to be my favorite. The worst papers, the ones I think this is going to be one I'm going to have to throw away or burn up or whatever. It's always without fail, it turns out to be my favorite. Okay, so enough blathering on. I think I've caught you up on everything so far. And so on with the project at hand. And everyone says, finally. Finally. Okay. I know I'm disappearing, but I'm trying to get the pieces and parts of all the stuff I need here. Okay, we got it. We got it. Goodness sakes. I pulled out so much stuff today that, yeah, kind of a mess around here. All right. So I've shown you all that stuff about journals so that I can let you know one of the ways that you can cover them. And one of the things that I use in addition to the moleskin journals is I use composition notebooks from the, I don't have a plain one here, from like a discount store or an office supply store. They look like this, okay? They are, they come in 2 different line widths. They come in college ruled and wide ruled. I don't care what they are. Whatever they are, I buy them. I don't care what the cover is because I'm going to cover it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I like to, and I do like to cover all of my journals, again, because I look at the cover and I know what's in them. You know? That's why I do it. If they look just like a plain moleskin notebook or a plain composition notebook, I don't know what's in it. You know, it's like out of my head. But when I cover it and do some fun stuff in it on the cover and inside, then I know what's there. And I have composition notebook journals for ideas. I have them for writing journals that I've used in the past. I have them for all different kinds of purposes. And so I'm gonna show you a process for creating a cover, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ones. I'll show you where we're going, and then that way you'll know kind of what the end result is. So this is where we're headed. These are covers. Whoops, sorry, a little close. These are journal covers. This one is finished. Okay, so this one is finished, and it is a composition notebook. This one is not quite finished, but close to being finished. The fabric, it has 2 different kinds of fabric on these covers, and that's why the colors, it's the exact same colors of sprays used on them, but the base fabric on this one was a drop cloth. It was a white drop cloth, and the base fabric on this is a duck cloth, which is kind of a natural color duck cloth. Okay, so that's kind of where we're headed. So the first thing that I do with these is, let me get a new notebook here. The very first thing I do is pick out the fabric that I'm going to put on it, like so. And you see how you can see through this cover, and that to me is not, that doesn't work for me. I don't want to see that. That's why I say it doesn't matter to me what is on the cover. And so I use something like, it doesn't have to be fancy gesso, any gesso, it doesn't make any difference. And I gesso the cover. Now this is not something you're going to do in like in an hour's time. You're going to need to use this as a fill-in project because it takes a while for all these steps to dry, okay? And by the way, if you hang around till we get a little further along, I'm going to give away these journals. So if you hang around, you Now, maybe you don't like them. Maybe you don't want that. That's okay. You don't have to have it. But I am going to give away a couple of these journals, so hang tight, because we're going to do a giveaway in a little bit. Oh, I'm glad you like them. Okay, so gesso. This is basics gesso. I've used all different kinds of gesso, from student grade, which is what this is, to very expensive and, you know, like an artist grade. And I've used this, which I got at Walmart, and I don't have a problem with any of them. So this one was $10.99, and I don't think I paid that for it. I think it was on sale, but anyway, doesn't matter. So I just use a brush and I'll paint a coat. I always put a piece of paper, like wax paper or parchment paper, inside to protect mainly to keep the cover from sticking to the pages, because I don't care if it messes up the pages. I just don't want it to stick. Pardon my cruddy mat. This is my Tim Holtz, one of my Tim Holtz mats that's on a board, so I can move it around easily. So I use white gesso and paint the whole thing with white gesso. I set it on something, let it dry, flip it over, repeat the same thing on the back cover, again putting something in here so the cover doesn't stick. Hi, Franna. And so then the next thing I do is I let that thoroughly dry, and then I usually look at it and put the fabric that I'm going to use on top of it. And I see if I can still read, you know, composition. That's kind of my rule. Can I read composition through the fabric? If I can, I give it another coat of gesso. And most of the time I find it takes 2 coats of gesso to thoroughly block that out. And then it also gives the surface some tooth to grab, and so I like that, because then I know that whatever I glue onto it is going to really stick. Okay, the next part of the process is, and I've shown this before also, but I'm just going to talk you through it, is once that gesso is totally dry, again, always it goes without saying, just make sure that you have protective paper in there, wax paper or something. And then I like the Aleene's tacky glue, the Aleene's original tacky glue. This is my kind of my go-to glue for stuff like this. And I use a scraper. This is a Bondo scraper that is used in the car industry, body work industry. Hello, Curly T. Hi, Sharon. I don't know if I missed anybody. Hi, Tony. I don't know if I missed anybody. If I did, I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Alicia. So glad you're here. Welcome to everybody. But anyway, I use this. You could use a credit card. You can use a key card, you know, a plastic key card, anything. You can use a palette knife. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Something that will scrape. And I squirt out a little bit of glue. Don't get too crazy with the glue. Okay, squirt some out, and then use your card and really, really spread that across the surface. Okay, and I go from this edge either over to here, depends on if I want to leave the binding free. Sometimes I leave the binding free. Sometimes I glue the fabric right around it. Why one time and not the other? I don't know. It's just the mood I'm in, I guess. So I scrape on a nice, even, smooth coat of glue. It doesn't need to be a lot. It just needs to be even all the way around. And then I put my fabric on it like this. Okay, and I smooth the fabric into it. Then I find that I can turn this over, repeat the process, put the glue on here, use the scraper, scrape it into a nice thin coat. Make sure you get it, if you're gluing it around the spine, make sure you get it on the very edge of the spine. Put the fabric around it. Then I put a piece of wax paper or parchment paper around the whole thing and put it under some heavy books and let it thoroughly dry. Okay, and you'll notice the fabric has been hanging off the whole time. I like starting out with it too big and oversized. Okay, all right. So you're going to have to imagine with me because there is drying time and I could not, it's like I've already got a bunch of these journals in process. I didn't want to do like 2 more. So you're going to have to imagine with me that this piece of fabric right here is, and the camera's going to be a jerk a little bit here, but we're going to work with it, that this is actually glued onto and dried on the notebook. Okay, so you guys with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you capable of pretending with me? I know you are. I know you are. Pretend with me that this is all done. Okay, just pretend. Just pretend this is on a notebook cover. Do I put something like parchment? Yep, I do. Either parchment paper or wax paper. Just slip it under the cover next to the pages just to keep the cover from drying to the pages. I don't care if the pages get a little messed up to start with. I just don't want them drying and sticking together. That irritates me. Okay. Jamie's a pretender. Okay. Cindy's not seeing it. Cindy, what are we going to do with you, girl? What are we going to do with you? All right, so you need a stencil of some kind. At least that's what I would recommend. This one I've used on one. This one, we're going to actually do the spraying technique on it here in a little bit using this stencil. And this stencil, in case you want to know what it is Mini Joyful Sunflower. Mini Joyful Sunflower. It is Carmen Medley from the Crafter's Workshop. This is the small one. Okay, 6-inch. TCW 575S. S means small. Okay, so this is Mini Joyful Sunflower. That's this one. This one that I'm actually going to use on this demo is the Mini Rosetta. Okay, Mini Rosetta, TCW 461S. And this is a Rebecca Meyer. Yeah, Rebecca Meyer Designs for the Crafter's Workshop. And then I used one more. You can also use a big one. Doesn't matter. You don't have to use a little one. This is a 12 by 12. I think this is a Julie Fafen Balzer stencil, and it's Magic Ladder. And this is TCW 756. Okay. All right. So those are, you just need a stencil. Just pick one. Doesn't matter which one. Pick one. You could use multiple stencils if you want. That's okay. And then I use some kind of palette. And I put the gesso, and this is the Liquitex Basics gesso. When I got this, I thought I've never used this brand before. I wonder what this is like, because some of them are thin, some of them are thick. This one is a pretty thick gesso, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. I was like, okay, well that's cool, because we're going to use this as a resist, and so because it's going through the stencil, I want it to maintain some of its integrity. It doesn't have to maintain all of it, but some of it is very helpful. So what I do is I use a plastic palette knife. Nothing secret about the plastic palette knife. Hi, Shauna. Hi, CB. Nothing magic about the palette knife. I just happen to like a plastic one because it's what I could find. That's why I like it. Okay, so what we're going to do, imagine again that this is already glued around the notebook. I'm going to flip this under the board. So we're going to pretend that this is the notebook. Although it's not, we're pretending. Remember, we got our thinkers, our pretenders going. So I just get a hold of my palette knife, and I do have a paper towel available. It's good if you put gloves in a bottle or some other skin protectant on your hands, because the gesso is going to get on your hands. It's a little harder to get off than acrylic paint, regular acrylic paint. So there is that. To begin with, because this doesn't have anything sprayed on the back of it, it's just a plain old mask stencil. I'm just going to get a hold of some gesso, and then I'm holding the mask in place, and I'm just simply going to butter. I'm going to butter the bread, butter the toast. But you do have to hang on to it, and pretty much for a little, toward the end you can let go of the stencil because it's kind of sucked down to the surface of the fabric. But in the beginning you really have to hang on to it. And I do not care if it is messy. That's me. If you want to be really meticulous about this, this is not the project for you, and I'm not the person to watch. And that's how that. So I'm just kind of, now I've let go of the stencil because it's pretty much sucked down to the surface. This takes a lot more gesso than you would think that it would take, and you can put as much of this on as you want. You can do the entire mask or stencil, or you can do bits and pieces of it, okay? But when I'm done, I think I'm done, then I kind of go over it and scrape one more time to pick up any excess, okay? That's that. I know it does sound like I'm scraping toast, doesn't it? It does. Okay, so then I just pick it up. Just pick up the stencil and pull it away, which when it's on your book cover, and you'll see that it's going to be a little gray here, that's because this had some black gesso on it that I didn't get completely cleaned off. Which, by the way, if you want this to be super white, if you want this gesso to be really, really white, then you probably need to make sure your stencil is really clean. But can you see how that, it's actually good that it's a little gray because it shows up a little bit and makes the camera not be a jerk. Okay, so that's that. With the same side that I'm working on, the same gesso side up, don't flip it over. Then I just move it over somewhere else. I don't really care where. So let's imagine that the spine of my book is like here, you know, like here. So if the spine of the book is like right there, I'm only gonna butter the gesso on half of it. In this case, because it's a piece of fabric, I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the whole thing. But you saw that I glopped out a pretty big glop of gesso, and I've used most of it, so I'm gonna get some more. Okay. So I'm just going to put out a little more gesso, but it's thick enough it takes it a hot second to come down into the neck of the bottle. Alright, so I put out another glob of gesso, but you can see how thick that is. I was really surprised, very surprised that it was that thick. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I just put the stencil, I can nest it up next to that one, I can move it over and let them have some breathing space. If this were a stencil like this that has edges on it, and I'm trying to kind of nest this sunflower up to that one, then what I do is I hold it with my hand. I just hold it and try to keep that edge up. And if it gets down there and mars what's underneath it a little bit, yeah, I'm okay with that. You know, I just really don't stress out about that stuff. I don't stress out about it. So, like I said, if you are a neat stenciler, this is not your project. If you like to have everything being neat and tidy and clean and in the lines and that kind of stuff, this is not your project. I'm not your person. I'm not your person. So butter the gesso on like so. Just butter it on. And on something like this, if I want to catch those edge shapes, I'm going to go clear out like that. And see what I did there? Got a little too much. I was a little too enthusiastic over there. So you need to pay a little more attention. Good thing this is just a sample piece of fabric. and then I just put the gesso on. You want a thick enough coat that you're going to be able to see what you want to see, but not so much that it's going to be, you know, super thick. All right, let's say that's good enough. I'm going to peel off the stencil like so. And then in here where I've kind of messed it up, I'm just going to mess it up a little bit more. Okay, so I just dragged my palette knife back and forth through the gesso and just made a zigzag pattern. You know, if you screw it up, then make sure that you do it again. The other thing that I like to do with this is just take some gesso on the back of the knife, and where there's blank spots, I'll put in a little bit of gesso. Just use the knife and just put it in and then make some marks in it. You don't want that gesso, in my opinion, and this is just my way of doing it, you don't want that gesso to be super thick. It's a pretty when I turn it up like this, you can't see a lot of it hanging, you know, sticking out here. It's not very deep. Okay, so let's pretend that this whole thing is done. Yeah, it is a messy thing. It's a messy thing. Now, I've got a bunch of gesso left here. Okay, got a bunch of gesso left. And even though this isn't an expensive gesso, I don't let that go to waste, so I just pick it up off my palette and I just scoop it up and just put it back. Put it back in the bottle, because there's no reason to waste that amount of gesso, right? Okay, so that's that. Now, gesso is going to dry like glue. It's not as much like glue, but it dries and it sticks to your stencils pretty tightly. So I encourage you to at least put it in something, you know, a bowl of water, a sink of water, or whatever. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go stick it in something, because it's much easier to clean the stencil. And if you don't clean gesso off a stencil like this, which the black, you can tell I didn't do a great job cleaning it off. If you don't clean the gesso off of something like this, all this little fine detail starts to lose its fine details. So, yeah. Yes. One splotch in an unwanted place is a mistake. 3 splotches are on purpose. You're welcome. That's right. I will be right back. Don't anybody go anywhere. So I think it's Shannon Green says once you do it once, it's a mistake. You do it 3 times, it's an effect, right? Okay. So we're going to take this thing, which you can't see. We're going to take this piece of fabric that has white gesso, white fabric and white gesso. What was I thinking? And just set it someplace and let it do its thing. Let it dry. Okay? All right. Next thing, this one that I'm going to show you here is the one that has the sunflower stencil on it. Okay, there's the sunflower. It also has some smooshes of gesso here and there, just to break up some of that white space, so, and to remove the preciousness of it. Okay, remove the preciousness of it. Once this was dry on this side of the cover, then I turned it over and I did the same thing on the opposite side, like so. Okay. Now, just to show you, sometimes I trim the fabric before I do the gessoing on it. Sometimes I trim it afterwards. So I decided to just leave this and show you. Okay, so what I do is from the inside of the book, I use a pair of sharp scissors, and you'll find out depending which direction the scissors want to cut for you. Sometimes I cut going this direction, and then sometimes the scissors decide to be jerks, and so I'll turn around and I'll cut the other direction. But I'm just cutting. Use a good not a good pair of scissors, but you know, a sharp pair of scissors for that you use in your creative area, and just cut right next to the cover. And I don't worry too much about these little strings and bits that are hanging out the edge, because if that bothers me, I'm going to tell you, they're going to quit eventually raveling. And sometimes I don't mind the strings and ravels, and sometimes I do. It just depends on what kind of, I guess it's what kind of mood I'm in. I don't know. So just cut using the notebook cover as the guide. But I find I get a much better result if I do this, rather than trying to size the cover fabric perfectly and then glue it on. That'll never work for me. Never work for me. Okay, then I throw that away, and I have my little notebook cover trimmed out. Now sometimes you'll find out that as the cover has dried, you'll find out, especially on the corners and sometimes on the front edge, sometimes it happens at any edge, let's just say any edge. Sometimes the glue doesn't get all the way to the edges. Then I just put a little bit more tacky glue under there and just hold it with my finger for a minute, and Bob's your uncle, it dries. What happens if you just fold them over and stick down? I'm not at all sure what you mean, Barbara, actually. That's right, Alicia. The scissors are the jerks. Yep, that's right. That's right. Linda McAllister. Hey, Linda McAllister. Linda McAllister. Okay, so what I need is my plastic. Okay, hold on. It's all here. Okay, this is when you need to protect your area. So this is plastic drop cloth, and so I put it, actually what I do this, when I'm really doing this for myself, I do it outside, but I still cover the area with plastic. Yeah. Bob's your uncle is, my son always says, Robert's your mother's brother. He'll say, and Robert's your mother's brother. The first time he said that, I'm like, what? I know, I was a little slow. It's okay. It's okay. I'm allowed to be slow, right? Yes. All right, so there are some things that you need for this process if you do it the way I do it, and you are free to do it, obviously, any way that you want to do it. But I had not worked with the Distress Oxide sprays. These are the 4 I have. They have many, many, many colors available now. These will stain your hands, so if you're smart, You can see I'm not. If you're smart, you will put on gloves, or you will put on gloves in a bottle, which is a lotion to protect your skin. Actually, this is the gloves in a bottle. And the gloves in a bottle, like an invisible pair of gloves, it helps keep this stuff from, it allows you to get it off your skin more easily. Okay? The other thing that you need to get the effect that I'm showing you, or that I would suggest you have, is some scraps of watercolor paper. Or you could have a big piece of watercolor paper. It doesn't matter. But that, okay, the scraps of watercolor paper I'm going to use to soak up the bits and pieces of the excess spray so that I'm not totally wasting it. I'll probably waste it here today, but you can see that I typically don't waste it. And this stuff here is what became the background for this. Okay, one of these is the background for that. One of these right here, one of these little bits, this, it's more like this one, became the background for this. This, you can clearly see, was part of this piece that became the background for that. So that way you're using up the extra stuff, the extra overspray, because I really hate just wasting stuff, which that's what I'm going to do here today, but normally I don't like to do that wasting thing. Okay, so, and I always have a spray bottle of water, because that helps make things move a little bit better. Okay, hi Gail. All right, so next what we're going to do is I'm going to figure out what colors I want. These are the 4 colors I have, which are Spiced Marmalade, Wilted Violet, Mermaid Lagoon, and Picked Raspberry. And let's just do these 3 for today, and we're going to set the purple aside, because the purple and the Spiced Marmalade will make, that will make brown, which is lovely, but you know, I'm not in the mood for brown today. So these have a mixing ball in the bottom. I kind of swirl them around. Like every sprayer, they will screw up on you. That's a given. It's good to have a rag or a baby wipe available. I don't care what anybody tells you, sprayers will screw up on you. Eventually, if not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Okay, so I'm just gonna swirl it. Hi, Sarah. 3 dogs and 2 kids, Sarah. Hi, Mickey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So once they're kind of swirled around, then this is how scientific this is, okay? This is very scientific. You spray. Okay, and then I wipe off the nozzle. And I do this every time, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And then I'm going to use the next one. So this is Spiced Marmalade. That's good enough. And then if you want the colors to stay more pure, you're going to need to use a heat gun and dry them, and sometimes that helps. And so this one is Mermaid Lagoon. I don't know if I said that earlier. Okay, and again, wipe off the sprayer. Now normally I was awfully neat, but normally I have a lot more spray on here. We'll give it like, what is wrong with me? How come my sprayer is neat? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to spray it a little bit more, because this is usually what happens. Is I have all this overspray out here. And again, always wipe off your spray nozzle. And then I'll get some water here and I'll hit it with some water, and you should be able to see, and I think you can, the gesso resisting the spray, right? You see that? And I'm going to let it sit for a minute. Just let it do its thing, kind of move around, and you'll see the secondary colors that it creates. You get a green here and so forth. So and you'll get an orange. So I'm going to let that alone for a minute. And then I'm going to use my little, this is watercolor paper, 140 pound, cheap stuff from the craft store. And I normally put water with it, but I forgot. And so I just soak up that and then let it sit for a little bit. Soak up the rest of it. Once it gets too muddy, which it will do, it'll get too muddy, then I just let it sit and then clean up the space. Okay? So we actually got a couple out of that. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to look at this, and by this point it has really soaked in, and you can really see the relief from the gesso. I know it is coming alive. Isn't that fun? Now, do you want more color? And for this one, I'm going to say, yes, I want a little more color, so I'm going to come in here and let's go for broke. Let's use the purple too, shall we? Why not? I said I wasn't going to use it. It's wilted violet. I said I wasn't going to use it, but I'm going to, because I can. I can change my mind because I can. Okay, so let's put a little. Okay, now we'll wipe off the nozzle, hit it with some water, which just helps blend it. And then, of course, you have all this loveliness. So we'll move this over, kind of out of the way. So I've got some cool stuff on this too. So let's give it a little water and just, you know, pick up some more of that. So we'll just print, you know, pick up some stuff here and there. Okay. And so you end up with this cool background. If you want more than that, or you don't want it to be so splotchy, well then spray it. You know, spray it with some water, let it drip, let it, you know, do its thing. And if you like it like that, then leave it. If you don't like it like that, take some paper towel, so we'll pretend, and pick up some of the excess stuff, right? You can also put droplets of water on that. Let it sit for a minute, roll it off, and it'll make water spots. I know you all have seen that technique from Tim Holtz. Let's see if we can simulate that. I don't know if it's dried enough or not. We'll see. Usually hit it with a heat gun a little bit and let the ink do its thing and then roll it off. So you can see a little bit, see the water spots? So you get more visual texture that way. Okay, so let's see if we want to pick up some more purple on this. Always know which direction your nozzle of the sprayer is pointing, or you'll spray it right in your face, right? Mm-hmm. Want to know how I know that? Okay. So again, that's really pretty bright. The distress oxides have this really interesting quality of, you know, making that oxide thing happen. And so they will continue to change a little bit and soften. The colors will soften, but you end up with these. I think they're bonus papers. I think they're kind of bonusy things. Let's get a little bit more. I mean, you can ruin it. You know, you can put too much on it and go, oops, I should have stopped a little bit before that. But then I like that. I like that kind of stuff where it just looks bonusy. Anyway, you can keep playing with those extra things as much as you want. Okay, so bonus, you know, don't forget, don't neglect and use and waste all your sprays. I mean, you can, but you can also use a journal and turn, oops, hello, jerky camera. You also can use a journal and just turn your pages, like take your journal and you've got all this spray stuff down here, and you can take your journal and you can just print on the pages inside your journal. You can do that. So I do one side of the journal, let it dry, and then I come back and I do the other side of the journal. Now, you will run the risk, when you're doing it like that, you will run the risk of messing up what you did the first time. Don't worry about it. Just don't. I'm telling you, don't be married to the outcome of this stuff, okay? Just don't do it. Stop yourself. Stop yourself. Now, I don't know if you remember or not, but I said on the 2 notebooks that I showed you, this one right here, the top one, this was done the same on the same fabric as I used here. Now I put more water on this to start with to get and I got a softer look. On this one, the color, and there's more white. There's not quite as much gesso down here as there is on this one. So the gesso, which is white, is resisting the spray or taking it differently, and so you're going to get a different effect. But the white background is always going to give you a truer color. This one, using the same sprays, this is done on duck cloth, which is kind of a manila cream color to start with, and so you get a completely different effect. Okay? Okay. If I wanted to add more to this, I could do that. Just come in, just spray it again. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just do it. Yep, just have fun with it. So there is that one, and I will try to replicate it on the other side. There's no guarantee that that will happen. It could happen, but there's no guarantee. All right, now I have one other thing to show you that might or might not work, but I thought, oh, we'll what the heck, we'll go for it and see what happens, right? So I have a black cover. As soon as I figure out what I did with it, hide it. I'm hiding it. Okay. This is also a composition notebook. Okay. And this is covered with black cotton fabric, quilting cotton. Nothing magic about the fabric. It's just quilting cotton. Same exact stencil that we just used, or that I showed on this one. This is I showed it on the plain piece of fabric with black gesso. Now this black gesso is a little softer and a little thinner, so I didn't get quite the same amount of detail, but you can see I also scuffed it up, you know, added some smooshes here and there. So this is black cotton fabric glued down to the cover the same way as I did the drop cloth, which is just a painty drop cloth. There's nothing magic about the fabric. And then it's dried. Actually, I did all this gesso this morning. I glued the fabric to the notebook last night, let it sit under weight last night, and then I did all the gesso stuff today. So the gesso dried pretty quickly. What I'm going to do and play with this, because I want to see what happens, and if we ruin it, it's a 99-cent or $2 notebook and a scrap of fabric and some gesso that I had on hand, so it doesn't matter. Several months ago, I bought these paints that were from the Color Shift paints. Okay, these are Color Shift from Folk Art. So they're called something flash. In this case, this is aqua flash. Okay, this one is blue violet flash. And you'll see, if this one's a little easier to see, there's kind of an iridescent quality to it. And this one is blue flash, and you can kind of see that flash color in the bottom. So there's a base color and then a metallic component to it. And I sampled these. I don't know if I sampled them. Yeah, here. So I sampled these on white. So this is what they look like on white. Okay. So these are all the colors that I have. Yellow flash, green flash, orange, pink, red, black, blue, blue violet, purple, and aqua. So those are the colors on white. Okay. Then I painted black gesso on this, on here. Okay. Painted black gesso. Okay, question. What do you do with the books? Oh, anything, Linda. Artwork, writing, yeah, anything. It's just stuff, you know. Does this only work with gesso? Well, gesso's what I've used it with. It probably works with some other things, but you just have to try it and see. Oh, thanks, Dar. That's very sweet of you. So it truly is. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Liana. It truly is something that you just kind of have to play with. Gesso is what I used because it had some body, some thickness, and so it wouldn't slump back together after I took the stencil off. So that's why I did that. Okay, so that is on the white. Okay. This is on white. Okay, those same colors. These are the same colors on top of black. All right, so this is yellow flash, that's yellow flash on black. So you can see the colors, green flash, orange flash, orange flash, pink flash, pink flash. This one's red, that's red. So you can see how it changes on when it goes over the black. This is black flash. Here it is over black. It's not a lot different from the black or the white. The blue flash is here. Blue flash, see how purple that is? This is the blue violet. There's the blue violet. Purple, purple, and aqua, and aqua. Okay? All right. So what I did is I took some of those colors. I took 3 of them. Okay, 3 colors. Aqua, blue violet, and blue. And I chose them based on what they look like in that sample page I did in that journal. Alrighty. We're going to see if this works. It may not work. I don't know. If it doesn't work, I don't care. So that's when you find the best stuff, is when you don't care. So I'm just going to put some wax paper in here, again, just to keep it from sticking to the pages. And what I've done is I took some paint and I put them in the bottles. Now, the Distress Oxide is also supposed to show up on dark colors, which I just want to see what this is going to do. So we could use the Distress Oxide and see what happens, but I wanted to see what this was. So I squirted a little bit of paint, and by a little bit I mean maybe half a teaspoon, I don't know. And I added water. Let's see. I added water from the bottom up like that. And these are just some sprayers that I buy in the grocery store and the pharmacy. Nothing magic. And I did the same thing to these 3 colors. So I got blue, blue violet, and aqua. I know it's hard to see, but those are the colors I have. So we're going to see what happens. There are some weird paints, right? Okay, so here we go. All right, so this one is blue flash. This one is aqua flash. And it doesn't look like much of it is going to show up. probably because I diluted the paint too much. And this one is blue violet. Okay. Now, like a lot of things, sometimes you have to let them dry. To get the full effect. Or, when in doubt, keep spraying, right? Keep spraying. See what happens. My sprayers are not much. And they're new. So they're not all that in a bag of chips, these sprayers. Okay. So, there's some color showing up. There's some color that is coming up on it. Almost looks kind of metal-like. Almost, yeah, kind of metal-esque. So there it is with the sprays on it, just to see what would happen. And over, whoops. And over on the left, it is without the sprays. And it's looking kind of green in the camera. That is not how it looks. It's actually black. So I'm trying to catch it so that you can kind of see what it is. So anyway, I just wanted to see what it would do. So not a whole ton. It's not all that in a bag of chips, but you know, you don't know unless you try it, right? Now, if you have the Finnabair waxes, and on this stuff, when you've got acrylic paint in a bottle, a sprayer like this, you either need to use it up or you need to dump it out, because that sprayer will be toast as soon as that paint dries. It will be toast. So you got to use it up. Okay, I'm looking for something, and I distracted myself, and now, oh, I don't know exactly what I was looking for. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Barb. It doesn't matter, Barb. If it comes back to me, I'll keep looking. I don't know what I was going to look for. Okay, we're going to dry this a little bit. Yeah, I've got some Inca Gold waxes that I'm going to use here in a second. I'm just drying this a little bit, which under normal circumstances, I would let this just dry on its own. But for the purpose of the stream, we're going to hurry it a little bit. It is getting some interesting, flashy kinds of colors, particularly in the gesso. It's not doing a lot where the plain fabric is. Okay. And so I would set this aside and let it completely dry, and then I'm going to keep working on it because I don't know what it's going to do. Who knows what it's going to do? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? So we're going to just set that aside for a minute, come back to this one, because these sprays are water soluble. So you got to do something to seal them. And here it is. Okay. So you can buy the Distress. The Distress has a product that is glaze. It's from this company, but they've repackaged it. And rebranded it so that it's a Ranger, it has the Ranger label on it. It's the same stuff. You can buy this, or you can buy this, which I tried. I just wanted to see what it would work, if it would work, because I saw somebody mention it one time, and I thought, I wonder how that does, you know. So I decided to go get some of it, and It's Badger for sore joints rub. But it's organic. So there you go. This tends to be, this is like $8.50 or so for this little bit. I don't remember how much this was, but it was a lot less expensive. And I thought, I'll just try it and see. All right, so what I used is, it's very similar to the microglaze in its texture, but the microglaze is clear. So, anywho, so in order to keep this to kind of waterproof it, this was what I did. Now, this kind of thing, if you have a textural issue, some people do have a textural issue about stuff like this, where they don't, because this is kind of rough. This may drive you crazy. The sound may drive you crazy. If this is going to drive you crazy, then mute your computer. So I just use my finger like this, and kind of the heat from my finger kind of melts the stuff, the Badger stuff. And then I just rub this on. Because this is not water soluble, it will not reactivate the distress product. So it takes a while, but I went over this. Actually, I did 2 different applications of this on the other one. And I just made sure I had enough, and I just went over it. You can do the same thing with this, the microglaze. I just thought I would show you this just because I tried it. And on top of that, it smells kind of good, you know. But you don't want to do this if you're going to continue to add more sprays and more, you know, water droplet kinds of applications. This needs to be like after you're done with all the distress stuff, because you're sealing in the property of it reacting. And if there's a spot that you don't get enough of one of these products on, either the microglaze or this stuff, or, you know, something else that you have, some other kind of product, and you don't get enough of it on there, and you get out and you get caught in a rainstorm, and your journal gets really wet, that's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Not going to be a good thing. Okay? So that is what I do. Then I let it dry. Then I come back and I give it another coat. And I mean, it has not done anything to the color. It hasn't changed it, darkened it, lightened it. It hasn't done anything to it. So, you know, that's what I did. That is exactly what I did to this one. Okay, so although this is the duck cloth, which is the darker fabric to start with, that's exactly what I did to that. Okay, and I've done it to both sides. You can't feel it, it doesn't feel waxy, but that's what I did to both sides of it. Then you'll see some little splotchy looking kinds of things on here. What I did on that is I used some Inca Golds, because that's what I have on hand. I have some Inca Gold metallic rubs, and mine are pretty dried out by this point. And we'll do some on this one just because I think maybe you can see it better. Maybe we'll do it some on the back. How's that? So I got a hold of some of the Inca rubs, metallic gold or metallic rubs, and I just rubbed some of those metallic rubs around on it. But I did that after all the spraying, and even put the Badger stuff on there. I did it after that, so I'd give you some highfalutin answer as to why, but I don't really know why. It's just what I did. And if the rub is too dry, this is really quite dry. If it's too dry to get it out of the pot, then I just wet my finger a little bit. And what I'm after is to catch edges of things. You know, I don't need a whole smooth application of the metallic rub. I don't need a smooth application of that. I'm just after some color. So we'll add some to this side and just see what happens. This is not completely dry. And you have to be okay with playing on stuff like this and not worry about how, you know, what is the end result. Well, you know, if you're worried about the end result, you're never going to find a happy accident, right? So I just squirted a little bit of water in there. When these are first freshly opened, you're not going to have any of the it's going to be nice and soft is what I'm trying to say, and faltering over my words. So you just play. Add a little here, add a little there. See what you like, see what you don't like. If you look at it and you go, oh, that's terrible, I just can't stand that. Well, then get your sprays out or get your water out and, you know, go after it. Just go after it. Just play. Don't worry about it. Let it dry. If the whole thing turns out to be something that you absolutely cannot stand, then get your black gesso out and give it a whole coat of black gesso over the whole thing, and you can start again. You know, you're going to have some texture, but that's bonus in my book. So you just play with it. See what it looks like. See what happens. You know, looking at it over black versus over the lighter color, I like them both, so it doesn't matter to me. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to quit playing with that because that was pretty much all I intended to do was show you that. Then for the edges, wipe off my hands a little bit. To do the edges of things, I tend to like the edge around the book. And to do that I use an archival or other permanent ink pad like this. And a sponge of some kind. I like the inking because I think it frames it and finishes it. And this is going to, when you're brushing against the edge of that fabric, this is going to cause all kinds of little ravelly things to happen, right? So you can cut those off, or you can leave them, or whatever you want to do with them. Like so. Another thing I use these little notebooks for is sometimes I'll watch an online program. There's a number of different kinds of things that I'm interested in other than art and creativity. And so I will watch some other kinds of programs or take a class that has nothing to do with art and creativity, and I take notes in these. So you can see this side has no inking on it, this side does. So you can kind of get the idea of how the inking affects it. Then in the spine area, you can either ink the spine area where I didn't get a lot of spray, or you can come over it and put a piece of fabric or some kind of tape or something on the spine. I would probably put fabric. In this case, I'm just going to put some ink on it. And you can use different colors of ink, right? So that just kind of fills in the gaps that we had going on there, like so. And that's as hard as it is. And then you have a notebook that's all covered. And if you don't like this, you can put, you know, put something in there. Paint it. You can do anything you want. Just don't be afraid. That's the thing. That's the big thing. Don't be afraid of doing what you're doing. Don't be afraid. Just go for it. Okay, Race, are you still here? Let's see if he is. Yes. Yes, we are ready for the giveaways. He just sent me a text message. So we're going to do 3. We're going to give away 3 of these. You're not going to get to choose. Okay? You're not going to get to choose. So you're just going to get surprised. You're just going to get surprised which one you get. So if you want to participate in this giveaway, here's what we're going to do. Race is going to run the giveaway for me. And so we'll do that. But if you win the giveaway, okay, this is what you need to listen to. If you win it, you do need to go to the website, which is HowToGetCreative.com. And you need to click on it's contact us or support or support ticket, any of those things. Any of those words will go to the same place. And you need to fill out that support ticket and just say, you know, what your name is. I'm going to know your name because we're going to keep track of it here. But give me your details. Even if you know that I have your address, I still want you to do that because it makes it easier for me. And it's all about me at the moment, right? Okay, so the word that we're going to pick is, do you want me to give you a secret word? Okay, I'll send you the secret word. And then Race can do what he wants to. He can do this the way he wants. Okay, I sent you the word. It is, I can give it to the chat? Okay. Okay, there's the word. Now Race is going to tell you what to do with it. And so we're going to have 3 winners. And the Nightbot, which is totally its own thing. It's impartial. It doesn't care because it's not human. Don't tell it I said that. Okay, don't tell it I said that. That is going to be what we're going to do. Okay, so Race, you tell him. I'm not sure what they're supposed to. Okay. So you need to take that word and type it into the chat to be entered to win. Okay. So once that is in the chat, then when we call time, then Nightbot will pull 3 names. Okay. So it's completely, I don't have anything to do with it. Race doesn't have anything to do with it. It's up to you guys. Just type in the word delight, DELIGHT. And then we will let the magic happen. So, okay. So I'm going to clean this up while we're doing that. And Race is taking care of that. I'm going to clean up this stuff a little bit. And then I got to get the sponsors have to make an appearance, don't they? Yeah, we only have 1 winner at a time. So we're going to get 3 different people. Okay, 3 different people. Oh, we're going to do 1 winner for 1 word. Okay, okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Okay. Okay, so for the first one, The first one, he's sending me text messages. Yeah, one winner per word. So this is for the first journal. The first journal, okay? The first journal, and then I'll give you the next word. So hang in here with us while we do this. We're doing this from several thousand miles between us. And making it up as we go along. Okay, here we go. Linda Green. Okay. Linda Green is the first one. Okay, so I'm going to give you a new word, right? I'm going to give you a new word. Okay, new word. Okay? So, Linda Green, you need to go and fill out a support ticket and give me your address. Okay? All right. So, here is the next. Race, you ready for the next one? Linda McAllister, you're not the right one. Okay, you ready for the next word, Mr. Race? This is very professionally done, by the way. You're welcome, Linda Green. Yeah, she's there. I saw her. She just answered. Okay, ready for the next word? Chat games. Isn't that the truth, Jamie? Chat games. Okay, we're going for the next word. Here it is. It's going to type in the chat. Then you guys are going to have to type it to be entered for the next journal giveaway. Okay, there you go. So the next word is inspired. Inspired. Okay, so this is for the next journal giveaway, and then we'll have one more after this. Yep. Anybody that's here can enter. So keep going. We'll give you about, I'll set my timer and you can have 1 more minute. Okay, we'll give you 1 more minute. Okay, it's counting down. It's counting down. So that's how many seconds you got to get your word in. Okay. Hi, Pat. I've inspired you today. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to have all of you here today. Thank you so much for coming and putting up with me, and as I get my sea legs back under me and my brain back in my head and everything headed in one direction. Okay, 30 seconds more. If you haven't put it in, the word is inspired with a D. Inspired. Okay? Inspired with a D. I hope you enjoy being here and you do feel inspired when you leave. Okay. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. The word is inspired. 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Okay, Race. Do it. Do it to it. So he's running the behind the scenes at the moment. And then I will pick the next word. Inez Cyr. I-N-E-Z-C-Y-R. Okay, Inez, are you here? Or Inez, I'm not sure which. Inez. Just making sure. Pat, I can send you all of my love. There she is. Okay. All right. Inez, you need to go to HowToGetCreative.com, fill out a support ticket, and put your mailing address in, and I'll send you one. I don't know which one. It'll be a surprise. Okay, so we have one more word, and the new word will be, oh, this is going to be such a surprise to you guys. You ready? So this is the last word. The last word is madness. M-A-D-N-E-S-S. Madness. Go. All right, I'm going to set the timer. And so you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds from right now. Okay? So here we go. 1 minute, 30 seconds. The word is madness. So it's counting down. Okay? And so this is going to be for the final. So I'm going to set up the sponsor cam while we're doing that so that the sponsors can come out and be ready. Sponsors have their own camera. Can you believe it? 1 more minute, people. 1 more minute. Yep. I've lasted pretty well today. I didn't know how long my brain would last, but it's done pretty well. Don't forget, VIP members, your class is tomorrow. Your email should be in your inbox. And it will be at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. All that madness looks like spam. It does, Mary, doesn't it? 30 seconds more. Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. All right, come on, you yard birds. All right, we're in the final seconds. Brains are highly overrated. That's right. Hippy Dippy Hairfish. I love your name. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're done. And we're done. Okay. Race, pull the final one. You want to come up? All right, come on. Come here. Ugh, goodness. Oh my goodness. You haven't lost any weight since you went in there for your nap. You haven't lost any weight. Hippy Dippy Hairfish. Okay, Hippy Dippy, I don't even know your name, so be sure when you fill out the support ticket that you tell me that put your screen name too. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so our winners were Linda Green, Inez Sear, and Hippy Dippy Hairfish. I love your name, Hippy Dippy. I see Inez. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, give me your human name and your screen name so I connect the dots. Yeah. All right, and then I will get the journals in the mail probably this week. You're slobbering on me, honestly. He's so happy to be out here. So thanks so much for playing. Thanks for playing, you guys. And so yeah, we've got you know who. Scooch back a little bit if you want to make your debut. Don't you love that? His legs all spraddled out like that. Yeah, this is Chance. In case you don't know him, who is so busy drooling on the table for some reason. I don't even know why. Anyway, yeah. So I'm glad to be back with you guys. The next stream will be. Whoops! Wait a minute. Got to get the right thing so I can talk to you. The next stream will be on October, I think it's 4th. Yeah, I think it's October 4th. Okay, so I don't know what else. Charlie's apparently not coming out. He must be all piled up in the window in the sun. So Chance always likes to come and be on the camera. I'll tell you the funniest thing about this cat. There is a YouTube channel called Cat Games, and I don't know if I can show you this or not, showing you something from the phone that, to try and get you to see something is probably not a good idea, but anyway, it's pretty funny if I can find it. The thing is called Cat Games, and this cat right here watched Cat Games, the one with the fish. He watched it for probably, here we go. Okay. I'm going to show it to you and see. It probably will look like crap on the computer. Okay, let's see if we can show it to you. Can you see that? That's this cat right here. And he spent a lot of time, this is just a little teeny portion of the time, watching those fish. He liked those fish. And he watched and he watched and he watched. I bet he watched that for an hour the other night. Is that not the funniest thing you've ever seen? So funny. So funny. Anyway. Okay. Whoops. Wrong camera. There we go. All right. So Chance and I say thank you for joining us. I'll be back, if all goes well, on October the 4th. So thank you for being here. Race, thank you for helping. Thank you to Clausman for being in the background and keeping an eye on things for me. And I will see you. Yeah, he does need his own iPad, doesn't he? Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. I'll be spending money on a damn iPad for a cat. He is just full of drool today for some reason. Anyway, all right, thanks for being here. I will see you guys soon, I hope. All right, thanks for being here, everybody. Remember to get creative today. If you're not a member of How to Get Creative, come on over and join HowToGetCreative.com. It's a membership website. We have all kinds of classes and all kinds of good stuff over there. And subscribe to our newspaper. It's a daily thing. You get it every day. It's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. All right, see you guys. Have a great day. Remember to get creative today because you know it's easy. We say goodbye, right? Bye, everybody.